Gahon, coming to you live from Numancia, Aklan, in Western Visayas in the Philippines. Let me just make sure I'm online. Let me see here. Let me see. I'm having my morning cup of coffee in my coffee with Gino cup here. All right. I'm not sure whether it is not. Let me see. Let me see here. Let me do this. All right, I see one person. I see one person. So this is my Copico Blanca, three-in-one coffee here in the Philippines. Coffee, cream, and sugar. You put it on your cup, add hot water, and you have a nice cup of coffee. I was worried there because I was looking. I can't see myself here on my laptop. Oh, right there. There's just a delay, I guess. My laptop is also slow. My laptop is also slow. No worries, no worries. I always start with the weather, but today, I just wanted to start. I want to send my prayers to those crew members that they had a plane crash, unfortunately. Part of war, I was in the United States Air Force. That's why I wore a lot of Air Force shirts, a lot of shirts like this, even with jets, red, white, and blue. Such a tragedy, for me. The KC 135, I've seen those planes. I can't remember if I actually ridden a KC 135, but a friend of mine sent a picture to me. One of the crew members was a tech sergeant. I was a master sergeant when I retired in the United States Air Force, and this gentleman was like a tech sergeant. Once you get up to tech sergeant, master sergeant, he was close to retirement, I can tell. And he was one of the crew members. One of the crew members was that perished over Iraq. Just want to say, send my prayers to them, also to their family. May they rest in peace. May their family, hopefully, they be consoled. They're heroes. They're heroes. Unfortunately, that's part of war. Part of war. You can't avoid that. You're gonna have us in the military. We know that. We signed up for that. We understand that that is part of being in the military. That those things happen. Hopefully, we don't have any more casualties. Hopefully, this war will end soon. Hopefully. Derek, aloha, hey, aloha, Derek, aloha. It's raining, raining again in wow, raining in Hawaii. Well, I guess the same in the Philippines. Sometimes it does get rainy here. Today, I saw the sun earlier. Now it's kind of hidden by clouds, but no rain. Actually, cooler temperatures here, Derek. I'm like amazed. Let me pull up my AccuWeather so I can give you an accurate temperature. Right now, it is 66 degrees Fahrenheit. Man, I cannot remember when the last time we've had 66 degrees Fahrenheit temperature. It is nice and cool. I had a morning walk this morning already. I've actually been busy this morning already because I got up at 4:30, my usual 4:30 a.m. I took a call from Olson and Aliyah, the couple from Columbia, South Carolina. They just had questions for me. They're getting close. They're like 4 months away from making the big move from Columbia, South Carolina to the Philippines. With Isaiah, they have a kid. They have Isaiah's like I think Isaiah's 12. I think I don't want to mess that up, but he's school age. Isaiah is still school age. Really cool temperature here, Derek, for for the Philippines. And I've been watching the WBC, the highlights anyway. I know US in the semifinals, they're going to be playing the Dominican Republic. And they're pretty good this year, Dominican. So we'll see. Hopefully, I haven't seen the other bracket. I haven't looked at the highlights today, but I'm thinking probably Japan will probably be also in the semifinals. And maybe I know Italy was playing another team, Venezuela. So, but I'm pretty sure Japan will probably move on. Also, we'll see. So, one game at a time. So we play the Dominican Republic next. All right, and I'm a big baseball fan. That's the sport that I really follow in the United States. Always been big. I love my Dodgers. That's why I wear the Dodger cap. In the pag-asa, as far as the weather here in the Philippines, the only thing that's really affecting the Philippines is the amihan season, the northeast monsoon, and that's going to be over soon here. I am expecting probably by the end of next week, Pag-asa will announce that it is officially summer here in the Philippines. No more typhoons. No more typhoons. Not till probably end of June or July. We are going to start summer season here in the Philippines. So pretty much the entire Philippines today, there's cloudy skies, chance for light rain is what I'm seeing here. No heavy rains of any kind. All right, and the other thing I report is the peso exchange rate, the dollar to peso exchange rate, and as it's been hitting like all-time highs. Right now, I'm just checking here, 59.71. It is almost at 60. A friend of mine actually sent me one that says it was at 59.80, so it dropped, but I'm pretty sure now, I think it's going to hit 60. And that's never happened. That's never happened here in the Philippines where it hits 60 pesos to $1. Our good friend Fortune, though, he's a banker. He knows the banking system here. He said that once it reaches 60, that chances are the Bangko Sentral of the Philippines will do something, release dollars or something in order for it to come back down. They're not going to let it shoot past 60. They're going to try to protect the value of the peso. So I'm holding on to a few dollars. I'm waiting for that 60. The minute I see 60, I'm selling whatever dollars I have. I'm selling it once I see 60. It's almost at 60. It's almost at 60. Kevin Shores, good morning, Kevin Shores. Lucita, my good friend in Maine. Good morning. Derek, I hear they're going to be boots underground. Iran, the Marines. I saw the news on that. The Marines, they're on USS Tripoli, but it's going to take them time to get there, Derek. It's at least a week, maybe 2 weeks for them for even the carrier carrying all the Marines to get there. They're not flying. They're not flying over. So we'll see, we'll see how, I try to stay positive. I try to look at what's going on. Hopefully, all goes well. I'll leave it at that. Which advice you have to the youth today? To the youth, man. That's I usually don't have a lot of advice to the youth. That's a new one for me. To the youth today. Lessen your use of the cell phone gadgets. That's not helping the youth, I think. Go outside, play outside more. LA Dodgers, the GOAT, the legends. All right, Kevin Shores. Joe Cano, good morning, Joe Cano. Good morning, Joe Cano. Lowell, kumusta? Mabuti ako, Lowell. Salamat kapatid from Oregon. God bless my brother Juancho. Bad for ordinary Filipinos. But most Filipinos I know, like I know in my community here at Camellia, Aklan, a lot of overseas Filipino workers, my neighbors here. So I know it's not just expats, it's not just Americans, foreigners that benefit from the high dollar. I know many people get remittance, so they're also happy because the remittance that they are receiving. Um, Here in the province, I don't think we're the Filipinos here in the province is not heavily affected. More probably in the cities, I would say, because here in the province, most Filipinos here are fishermen and farmers, and they just press on with their day. They plant their own food here. But I do understand for people living in the cities. Yeah, I can see that it would be bad for those people. But hopefully it doesn't last long. Hopefully it doesn't last long. Said hi, Sepre. When the dollars is high, the Philippine economy is bad. Well, I'm not an economist. I'm not going to claim that I'm an economist, but I came here to the Philippines 15 years ago. The peso was 39 pesos to the dollar. Now it's reaching 60. In the last 15 years, I've seen progress here in the Philippines. I've seen infrastructure. I've seen people increasing their salaries. So I don't, like I said, I'm not an economist, but I don't think that's all true what you're saying, Juancho. Many of my neighbors here, my neighbor was Filipino, and I'm seeing more and more SUVs. I'm seeing Ford Ranger trucks, Toyota Hilux. So I don't totally agree what you're saying. I think the economy, for sure, I've seen the last 15 years, even here in Aklan province, it has improved. Economy here, people are doing well in our province. Maybe other provinces, it's not doing as well as Aklan province, but I don't see it here. I don't see much poverty here in the Aklan province. Lowell, I would tell the kids get a good education and good paying job if possible. Yeah, great, right, Lowell? And I would also add on to that, Lowell, don't be focused so much on going to college. College to me, there's other paths instead of college. Vocational school. If I had to do it again, if I didn't retire, if I didn't join the military, I would have gone to something more vocational, something to do with welding, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, something that I know that people will need, that I can always secure a job, because too many people go to college and graduate college and are unemployed. Is what I'm seeing. I see that in the US. I see that here in the Philippines. A lot of degrees that you graduate, and what do you do with this degree? It's like you can't get a job with this degree. That's the reason you don't understand it. All right, Juancho. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, Juancho. You're entitled to it. I respect your opinion. I'm not like you're first on our channel. I've never seen you on our channel. I'm not the argumentative type. I'm like we all have our own opinions, and I respect everybody's opinion. I respect your opinion, Juancho. Kevin Shores, kids should be less staring at the screens and go outside and be. That's what I'm saying, right? Right, Kevin Shore. That's why here in our neighborhood, I am happy. I am happy here because in the sunset time here, there's a ton of kids here just running around here, hooping, they're bouncing their basketball, running, riding their bicycle, skateboard, scooters, those push scooters. I love it. I love it. I love seeing that here in our province. Hello again, Gina A. Olsen. All right, Aliyah and my buddy Isaiah. Good day, Panay Posse. I just had a video call with Olson and Ali this morning, trying to, they're getting about 4 months to their move here to the Philippines. So questions start coming up. You're like, and I'm always there. Like for any of you guys, if you're coming here to the Philippines, I'm always willing to do a video call. Ask away. Ask me all the questions you want. Belus, hey, good morning, my brother in Leyte. Good morning, Belus. Blue skies in Leyte. I don't see the blue skies yet, but I do see the sun trying to come out here. But it's like chill here, man. Like I said, it's 66 degrees Fahrenheit. We've been hovering like 72, 74, but this morning I looked at the temperature. It was like 66 degrees, and it's breezy, man. It's been breezy since yesterday. I don't know where all this wind is coming from. Good morning, Gino and the posse. Good morning, JP. Good morning, JP Calibo. Jokano, a good quote I heard today. There are lots of good people in the world. If you can't find one, be one. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome, man. I'm gonna have to steal that, man. That's an awesome quote, man. That's an awesome quote. I need to take my hat off here. I love that. I love that quote. Thank you for sharing that, Jokano. I think young kids should be at least 4 years in the military. It teaches structure. Oh yeah. To me, if I had a son, daughter, graduating high school, I would rather them join the military instead of like going to college. Because for one, they can gain the GI Bill, let the military service pay for their college. And a lot of times, when most Americans, they graduate high school at like 18, 19. You're not, I don't think they're really that mature enough for college. You need like a structure, a military, man. They will mature fast. They will mature fast in the military. Military know how to get you in a tip-top shape. Become a discipline, teach you discipline and respect and honor. You'll learn really fast in the military. I think the minute you step in basic training, you find out really fast. You find out really fast what the military is all about. Morning, JP. God bless from Louisville. JP, education needs to lead to a job that will support them and possible fam. Right, JP. To me, I think that's even a problem here in the Philippines, JP. I went to college here. I went to SCI College Calibo for 4 years. And I just think there's some degrees here that there's not a lot of jobs after you graduate with a degree, or not good paying anyway. For me, the only courses I would select here, if they're going to college, I would recommend. That's why I'm pushing Leanne to nursing. Anything medical. You could be a pharmacist, you could be a nurse, you can be a med tech, lab tech, radiology tech. Heck, you can be a veterinarian. Those are courses, at least, that when you graduate, you can get a job here in the Philippines. Also, if you're like a seafarer, like a merchant marine seafarer, that gets you a job. But immediately after you graduate college. But some of the courses here, that you wonder, they offer like business management courses, things like that. Or tourism. There's not a lot of jobs, there's people that work tourism that don't go to college here, and they do fine. And business management, when you graduate at age 22, there's not going to be many businesses that are going to hand their business to you. To me, it's just hard. IT would be another one. IT, that's what Dazzle and we took, information technology. That at least will get you, a lot of my classmates that we graduated with, they found jobs in Iloilo City, Cebu City, and in Manila, in like the BPO, call center, tech assistants. There's always a need. There's also a need if you study that. But I think it's a waste of money to attend college where when you graduate you can't get a job with your degree. You know, just my opinion. Just my opinion. I'd rather take a vocational 6 month, 1 year vocational school on something. Heck, a barista even makes good money, right? You know, you can study barista in a few months and then you'll be working at Starbucks and making good money at Starbucks. Hello, Derek Lowell. Our development in okay, I don't know what that means. I don't want to read it because I don't know what you mean there. Hi Kuya. Hi everyone. Pinay Hard. Hey Pinay Hard. My sister in Oceanside, California. Hello, hello Pinay Hard. Military is a great option. Next would be trade school. Yeah, I agree, Joe. You know, it's like I agree on the trade school. And if you are going into a licensed career, then look at college. I just know in the US, you know, there's so many people that get into like heavy student debt, you know, like student loans, student debt, and then they graduate and they can't pay off their debt. You know, some people, they're like in their 50s already and 60s and they're still paying on student loan debt. You know, to me, that don't make any sense at all. I'm in the hotel restaurant ordering breakfast. All right, we are on Dumarao. Yeah, I saw. I think I was watching. I was watching one of the live streams. Either James, either Jen, or you know. But I saw you. You made a comment there that. JP, that Blue Arrow didn't like the mountains. The Blue Arrow, and I've kind of figured that. JP, because you know Blue Arrow looks like a more sporty, you know, like a road on the street, a street bike. You know, I didn't think Blue Arrow was gonna do good in like muddy, sandy, you know, kind of like mountain roads. You know. Just be careful, be careful. I know you're an experienced motorcycle rider, JP. We are on Dumarao at the Grand 29 Hotel. 2,100 pesos in a pool. Wow, nice, nice. About $36 for a hotel with a swimming pool. Very nice, man. I know in the US, man, I don't know what hotel you can get for 36 pesos. maybe per hour or 2 hours in a hotel for $36. And Pinay, does Kuya Gino have a moderator? Somebody needed to be remove fouls. I just tried to remove it myself. I don't have any moderator, Pinay. I don't get many. People that are like pretty much people that join the live stream. We all know each other. There's, you know, once in a while we get, and I can put them on timeout. I know how to put them on timeout. Usually if I just not read it, they go away. Awful and rude message. Oh, I didn't see. I didn't see any awful and rude. If I saw it, I would have like timed them out. The kids today in America just want to play Xbox. Yeah, I know, right? You know, they don't want to go outside. Oh, my dog, see, even my dog wants to go outside. You know, even Totoy wants to go outside. There you go, Totoy. Go outside. You know, but I'm glad here in our neighborhood, every afternoon when Dazzle and I do our sunset walk out here in our community, we see kids on bicycles. So we have a basketball court. So we see kids go to the basketball court and play basketball. That's one thing I like about living here. Michael C, good morning, bro. Free college here in Scotland, government. Oh, that is awesome. You know, I wish they had something like that in the U.S., man. You know, when you know, that was why I ended up in the military. When I was graduating high school, I had pretty good grades. You know, I was in the honor roll my senior year, but you know, I just didn't have money for college, and I wasn't a citizen at the time. I was just a green card holder, so I didn't know about all that student loans, and I didn't want to burden my mom with any loans or anything like that. So that's why I joined the military. Get at there's a Irwin. I don't see a Irwin. If I see it, I'll remove it. Pinay Heart, don't worry. JP Eden says hello to everyone. Hello, Eden. Hello. That's when I met Eden. We went lunch to them with them at the Hayahay in Calibo. Lowell, I also told kids in my barbershop to say, see, that's another profession, it's like, go be a barber, man. Here, man, you make good money, have your own barbershop, your own, man, you can make money doing that instead of like wasting 4 years of college and end up with nothing. And to save at least 10% of their income, rainy day, never know. Oh yeah, for sure. Good advice, Lowell. Okay, Brother Gino. Jay Miller, hey sir, what's your AFSC? Okay, for people that don't know, AFSC is Air Force Specialty Code. And for me, I was medical administration. When I first joined in 1984, I was 906. Midway through my career, they changed the numbers from 906 to 4 Alpha 0, but my 20 years active duty, I was in medical administration. Always work in hospitals. Towards the end of my career, I did a lot more medical readiness. I taught classes in force protection. I did a lot of working at command posts, base command posts. More because when I first joined the military, I didn't have the security clearance. I just had a green card, so I couldn't join. I couldn't get into jobs that required a secret clearance or top secret clearance. Very few jobs. My security clearance when I joined the military was favorable, but towards the end of my career, I got my top secret clearance. So, I became a citizen after about 2.5 years in the military. That was part of the reason I joined the military, so I could become a United States citizen. And then once I got my security clearance, I could access the top secret stuff, readiness, medical readiness information. I really enjoyed that job, actually, because it kind of gave me an insight of a lot of, of course I can't talk about my job, but it gives me a lot of insight on what's going on in the Middle East war. I just understand it more because I have information that I'll never forget, that I got to see about how those things work. Lowell, Kevin, what part of Scotland are you? My ancestors are from Lewis Isle Clan, Matheson. I have never been. All right. Your ancestry, man. You're from you're a Scottish from Scotland. Derek, growing up in Indiana, we played outdoors, rode our bikes. We came to dinner, play outside. Same thing here in the Philippines. We grew up the same way, Derek. I was born and raised in Tondo, Manila. Part of my, living in Tondo, lived in Quezon City till I was 12 years old before we moved to the United States. But here in the Philippines, and if you can imagine growing up in Manila back in the 70s, you had to be pretty street smart. Growing up as a kid, but we were always outside. We were never inside the house. Man, it's too hot in the house. I don't remember having AC growing up, man. It was hot in the house. You didn't want to be sitting inside your house in Manila. Paul Morgan, good morning, Paul. Good morning, Paul. My friend in Iloilo City. Have a wonderful Sunday. You too, my friend, you too. Mary said hi. Kim, Mandal, all right. Hello, Gino, and everyone watching. PBT, Peanut Butter Travels here. All right, thank you for joining. All right, let me try. I'm gonna knock out all the news information. I told you the weather, the dollar to peso exchange rate is doing really well. Let me start hitting some of my topics here. All right, I did that. what I do is I have all these live stream topics, and then once I talk about it, I just delete it so I don't talk about it again. A lot of OFWs, of course, from the Middle East. OFWs are overseas Filipino workers that work in the Middle East. This weekend started Friday, Saturday, Sunday. More and more are coming home to the Philippines for, you know, they're being repatriated here to the Philippines. And actually, I even saw an article this morning where the Philippine government, once they land in Manila, the ones that have to go to Visayas, have to go to Mindanao, the Philippine government is even paying for the airline, you know, getting them tickets to get back to their home province here in the Philippines. Because, you know, OFW, the overseas Filipino workers, they are heroes here in the Philippines. The Philippines could not survive. This economy will fall apart without the OFWs. The GDP, everything else, you know, it's a big part of the Philippine economy. Is all the heroes, all the overseas Filipino workers all over the world. Not just the Middle East, Europe, America, Canada, Japan, you name it. You know, that the Philippines is the #1 exporter of people. You know, it's like, I don't know a country that exports more people than the Philippines. So they are just heroes here. That's why they get good treatment. You know, it's like Philippine government said, you know, paying for flights for them to come home to the Philippines, get here, more flights for them to go home to their home province. They're well-deserved, well-deserved. I wanted to update you on the Panay Bridge. I've talked about this before. I've actually made a video before, and I haven't heard anything about it lately. It's the Panay Guimaras Negros. Basically, here in Panay Island, they're gonna build a bridge. It's a project it's already on the go. They've done a lot of, evaluating the soil, evaluating the ocean floor and all that. The bridge will connect Iloilo to Guimaras Island, and then Guimaras Island to Negros Island. So basically, in a few years here, I can drive from here to Dumaguete. You know, it's like I can just take my car, drive all the way to Dumaguete from here. I no longer have to take the Iloilo to Bacolod ferry in order to get to Dumaguete. But there's been a delay. There's been a delay in the project. That's why I wasn't hearing about the project. At one time, it was on the go already, but they put in money on the project already. The Koreans are helping the Filipinos build the bridge. Right now, it was supposed to start actually this year, like July of this year, but now they're looking at fourth quarter of 2027. So at the earliest, October of 2027. It's the Philippines, you know. Everything kind of moves on island time here. Nothing is rushed here. Expect delays, you know. That's just part of especially a big project like this. Like billions of peso projects. So it says here, but let me read this. So due to the revisions in the project, I guess, you know, they did the survey of the land, where the land part section and also the ocean floor. Due to that, they had to adjust the timeline of the project. So now they're not going to start building it till the end of 2027. So we're still a few years, but at least there's money allotted to it. I saw it like in even the budget this year, and then the Filipino budget, government budget. There's money assigned to it already. Everything just takes longer. Everything just takes longer here, especially to build. And one of the things here, because of the oil, the gasoline, from the start of the war in the Middle East to about this past week, we saw a jump. Even here in Calibo, we saw a jump. The gasoline here in our area was around 58 to 60 pesos per liter. It is now around 72, 73 per liter. So a good percent there, a good percent, probably 20% increase. And then we're hearing now that this coming week, it's going to be another 10 peso increase in gasoline price. So we've gone from around 58 to 73. Now we're hearing it's going to hit about 83 in our area. There's already places in the Philippines, people are posting it on Facebook, where it's already over 90 pesos per liter. Again, it started around 58, 59. So on those areas, I think Michael C, he's shared with us on the live stream here. He already saw 90 pesos per liter in Cavite. So not good, not good. You know, it's like that's why we're riding our tricycle more. We have a economy car, we have a 3-cylinder Toyota Wigo, but I'm saving the gas on that and using the tricycle more, because the tricycle, I can fill up the tricycle for like $4. I can fill up the tricycle and we're good. We can like roam around here. And yesterday, Dazzle, Mom, and Leanne, I did take them in the car to Calibo, but on the way back, they just took a tricycle. What is OFW? Okay, OFW is Overseas Filipino Workers. A lot of them. You know, it's like that's like I said. I can't think of another country that exports more people all across the world than Filipinos. More OFW to Western countries need to be allowed in America. Massive assets. So true, right? So true. But, you know, they're fighting. I mean, America's got to fight for them now, too, Belus. You know, it's not like, you know, America's not the, before, you know, that was like the direction, you know, that was like number one. If you want to work overseas, you want to go to America. But now, you know, you can go to Australia. They pay about the same, maybe higher in the U.S., but, you know, you're closer to home. Japan, South Korea, you know, Singapore, I heard pays Filipinos really well. So Filipinos got options. Filipinos got options, whether what country where they want to go. What was your favorite duty stay? Oh, that's easy. That was easy, super easy. I was lucky enough because I'm Filipino. I'm both American citizen, Filipino citizen. I was blessed enough to was stationed at Clark Air Base in the Philippines from 1988 to 1991. The only bad part was I was part of the evacuation, the Mount Pinatubo eruption, the volcano that displaced us. I was living the good life at Clark Air Base, Philippines. I was happy working at the hospital. Next thing I know, I'm on a C-130 headed to Guam, then another C-130 to Hawaii, a C-141 to the U.S. Next thing I know, I'm in Barksdale Air Force Base, Louisiana. You know, it's like I went from the Philippines to Louisiana, man. Yes. All prices up. Even my steel orders went up. Ooh, I guess it makes sense, right, Belus? Because they got to transport. Somebody messaged me. I made a comment. You know, my friend John in Oregon. He's a Dodger fan. Hey, John, what's up? He messaged me and he said where his fiance here in the Philippines. She told him that prices of rice even went up. So far here, I don't see the prices rice or anything going up. We're blessed here. You know, we have an abundance of rice here. We're like one of the top producers of rice in our area. But, you know, people, again, living in the city, if you live in Manila, if you live in Cebu City, you know, everything's got to be trucked to you. Everything has to be shipped or trucked. You know, I don't see many rice fields in Manila. It's like, there's not a lot of rice fields in Manila. Not a lot of like vegetable areas where most of the vegetables in Manila come from Baguio City up in the mountains. So if that's got to be transported, and diesel is even worse. Gasoline prices have gone up. Diesel prices have it's even higher. Like I know for us here, the gasoline went up about 12 pesos per liter. The diesel went up over 20 pesos per liter. So diesel's even worse. I don't know what that is. How diesels went up, and they're expecting it again this coming week for prices to go up again. Oh, James, there's James. James and Karen. Good morning, James. I saw that title that James used. It's kind of the gas apocalypse. It's the gas apocalypse here in the Philippines, but we'll survive. It's not, James, he's got a farm and everything. So and us here, it's not affecting us here because we can walk to the public market here. So the public market is less than a kilometer away from us. We can even walk there and we have our tricycle. The tricycle is like a 125cc scooter. It doesn't use a lot of gas. And everything we need is really in our town. I don't really have to go to Calibo to shop. Everything I can get at the public market, seafood, vegetables, fruits, rice, everything's available here. And I've seen the price go up yet here. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. And because of that fuel, a lot of the government, the Philippine government, again, they're subsidized, providing a subsidy to like jeepney drivers, because a lot of the jeepneys here they run on diesel, so they're getting money. I saw one that says it was like 5,000. I don't know. It's more likely 5,000, a one-time payment to the jeepney drivers. That way they don't raise the prices automatically on public transportation. And now this one article I'm looking at, over 15,000 fishermen will also get a fuel subsidy from the government. But it makes sense, right? Because the fishermen, they use gasoline too to power their the bamboo boats here. So they're also going to get a subsidy from the government. Oh, James, since you're online, I saw this, man. Kind of interesting, James. It says here in Nabas, Aklan, March 20. So in 5 days, this is happening in 5 days, James. I'll send you this link. I'll send you these photos. It says Malipayong Angler Cup 2026. So they're going to have a fishing tournament. But this one, I've never seen it. I guess it's only in the Philippines. It says here, shore casting tournament. So I guess no boats allowed. You got to cast from the shore in a beach in Nabas, I'm sure. I'm sure they'll have a designated area in Nabas. It says here in Union, Barangay Union, Nabas, Aklan. It's a tournament, man. First place, 1,000 pesos. Second place, that's about $18 for first place. $9 for second place. Third place is 250 pesos. Registration, the only thing I saw, 5:30 a.m. is the registration for this, and you're allowed to use rod and reel, whatever you want to use, and it starts at registrations at 5:30, 6 a.m. is the start, and then the weigh-in and awarding happens at 1 p.m. So you get to fish, I guess, for 7 hours, and then they'll do the weigh-in. I've just never seen that before here. I've never seen a fishing tournament. I know fishing tournaments are big in the United States, but this is the first I've ever seen a fishing tournament here in the Philippines. It says here, you bring your own rod and reel and line. So that I'm reading, it's in Tagalog. So I have to but so that's pretty cool. I've just never heard of them having like a fishing tournament here in the Philippines. So they're gonna have one in Nabas, Aklan in 5 days, March the 20th. Jay Miller, did you work with supply at all at Clark? My dad's supervisor, my my old supervisor was stationed there during the eruption as well. Oh, the thing about the hospital at Clark, it was the biggest hospital that I've ever worked in my career in the Air Force. It was 13th Air Force Medical Center. Half the people that work in the hospital I never even got to see, because we all work different shifts. The hospital was just massive. I never got to work in supply because they're actually a different AFSC from med. I'm a medical administrative specialist. I work more in like records department, admitting, ward clerks. We were ward clerks, clinic clerks. Supply was a different AFSC from my AFSC. They were specific medical supply or hospital supply. Belus, yes, in all this, thank God for the foods in the Philippines, from sea to ocean, fruits, natural, everywhere. Yeah, I think for us, Belus, right? And I was mentioning it on the live stream the other day. For us in the province, it's not going to affect us that much. The only effect to me, I will definitely lessen my driving my car just to save money. I don't want to pay high gas prices, or lessen our trips. We'll have to realign our summer vacation here, because Liana starts her summer vacation here any day now. She already had her final exams for the school year. Summer vacation in the Philippines for school kids, normally the whole month of April, the whole month of May, and then June is back to school. So April and May are and this is going to affect that. So we just won't travel in our vehicle more. There's a lot of stuff for us to do here. We got Laola's Fish Farm. We got Navitas Beach. We're 10 minutes away from Navitas Beach. So there's enough for us to just stay busy in our area here. Gino, after conversion, it's $85 per liter for 87 octane in the high desert. Per liter. Oh, cents, 85 cents per liter. Your gas, Southern Cal Benny, is always less in the U.S. than the Philippines. The Philippine prices on gasoline is always higher than prices. I guess it depends on what state. I know California is pretty high, but I've always been paying more for gas here ever since I drove. My first 3 years here, I didn't have a car, or I didn't have a motorbike. I just rode my mountain bike. But once I finally bought a car, I noticed that immediately. I was doing the computation, and I was paying more for gas here than I was paying for gas in Tucson, and that hasn't changed, because I have friends in Tucson. They're always paying less for gas in Tucson, Arizona, than what I'm paying for gas here in the Philippines, because all the gas here is imported from the Middle East. 90% of gasoline in the Philippines is imported from the Middle East. The Philippines has to use dollars to pay for those. And then that's just getting the gasoline to Manila or Cebu, the major ports. We're a province here, so it adds. Our gasoline here in the province is even higher than the gasoline in Iloilo City. Iloilo City always has the cheaper gas because they have a port that's where they drop the gas, is in Iloilo City. So by the time they transport that gasoline here to Aklan in one of those trucks, they're going to charge us more here. They always charge us more here in Aklan. OB, I wonder if they would allow a drone to cast the hook for you. That would be cheating. That would be cheating. I'm sure they won't, man. I'm sure somebody's going to say, who? What's that? That's a drone. That's not allowed. That's cheating. That's cheating. It's funny. I mean, it's a small tournament, right? Like the first place is like $18. It's like 1,000 pesos. But I'm sure it's more of like the prestige, right? It's like bragging rights. I'm sure they'll give you like a plaque, a trophy or something, that you're the Aklan fishing champion. That'd be awesome to claim, man, that you're the Aklan fishing champion. Southern Gino, man, 85 pesos. Oh, okay, 85 pesos. All right, that confused me with the dollar sign. No worries, no worries. So see, that's still cheaper because I know in Manila, or in Cavite already, they were already paying 90 pesos per liter this past week, and another increase is going to hit. So they're going to hit triple digits. They're already paying triple digit pesos in Boracay. It's over 100 pesos already in Boracay Island. So you're gonna have to do more walking and bicycle. I have a bicycle, man. I have that foldable bicycle. Just have to do more walking. Do more walking. All right, I did the fishing, the fuel subsidy. I just want to make sure I hit all the topics here before I always have a topic to discuss before my main topic for the live stream. The one last article that caught my eye. They're finally looking. I mean, to me, it's always been a problem here in the Philippines. I think most people know that the Philippines is like one of the countries in the world, one of the top, maybe even the top, as far as producing plastic waste. There is just so much plastic here in the Philippines. I couldn't believe it when I first got here that everything you can order something, they just use a lot of plastic. And then we have a culture here, they call here it's called tingi. Tingi is like Tingi. Tingi means it's like you're buying per use. The perfect example is my coffee, my 3-in-1, Capico Blanco, the sachet. This is considered tingi because this is 1 cup of coffee. So if I'm drinking 1 cup of coffee, automatically I have this sachet that I gotta throw away in the garbage, right? Same thing happens with a lot of products here. You go to the sari-sari store and everything is served to you like you can buy per use. You can buy per a sachet of shampoo. You can even buy cooking oil, like a little plastic bag of cooking oil for 1 cooking. Sugar, you can buy one, everything, because, not a lot of people have, a lot of money to buy items, here in the province, the minimum wage here in the province is around $8 to $9 a day. So you can't buy a lot. You can't go to the Save More SM Cherry Grocery with $8 or $9. There's not much that you can put on your grocery cart with $8 or $9 a day. So a lot of people here shop at the sari-sari store or the public market, and everything there is like wrapped in plastic. Even your bagoong, even like the bagoong, the fermented shrimp paste, even that is wrapped in plastic. So what it does is the Philippines, it generates 2.7 million tons of plastic waste each year. That's that's why they have a big issue here in the Philippines as far as the waste, like where to put the trash, where to put, you can't fill enough landfills here. You got Smoky Mountain in Manila. You just can't, where are you going to put all this plastic? Plastic doesn't, they're not biodegradable. The plastic, and then unfortunately, a lot of it ends up in the ocean. It's like, that's one of the, because there's just so many products here in the Philippines that are single-use packaging. And to me, that's really, you can kind of blame whoever allowed that to happen. I mean, corporations, they're always going to go for the money. You could tell, I'm pretty sure when somebody created this sachet economy here in the Philippines, I'm pretty sure like the corporations knew what they were doing, that this cannot be good for the environment, right? This cannot, but because of money, right? Because of greed, they let it happen. They let it happen. So at least now, I was looking at this article, they're starting to look at it. But you know how it is, they're looking at it, but what are they going to do about it? Because it is a big problem. It's like there's just so much plastic waste that accumulates here anywhere. And to me, I always notice it when I go to the beaches. Boracay does a good job, White Beach in Boracay, because they have the local government in Boracay. They walk every morning, they clean the beach, they sweep garbage out of that, because it's a big tourist thing. Tourists ain't gonna like seeing that. So they spend a lot, the local governments spend money on cleaning that. But most of the beaches, like here in mainland Aklan, if you go to most of the beaches here in mainland Aklan, from Calibo, here in Numancia, to Makato, to Tangalan, to Nabas, to Buruanga, they don't do that. They can't afford to hire people to sweep the beach constantly and get the trash out of the beach. It's hard to find a beach here where I can swim, where I'm like swimming with like plastic, sometimes plastic water bottles floating, sometimes glass even, like Red Horse, and then the beach itself, there's just so much plastic, trash washes up on the beach here. To me, it's just like unfortunate, because there's 7,000 islands in the Philippines. So many beautiful beaches here is being ruined because these companies are profiting from it. And I'm sure like the big corporations, they know what they're doing, man. They know what they're doing with these sachets. They knew that when they created it and start selling it to the market, sorry store everywhere here, where's all that stuff gonna end up in, All right, that's the last topic as far as the news that I have. So I'm gonna talk about today my topic, I'm gonna talk about the vacation versus retirement here in the Philippines. I often see different groups on Facebook. They're always Thailand, Vietnam, better than the Philippines. They're always saying that, and there's truth to that, because Vietnam and Thailand will always get more tourists. Than the Philippines. For one, being a tourist in Vietnam, if I was an American, if I was European, if I was a tourist for 1 week, 2 week vacation, it is cheaper to go to Vietnam and to go to Thailand, hotel-wise, food-wise, traveling-wise. Even for me, if I wanted to go from here where I'm sitting, if I wanted to fly to Vietnam and Thailand, it would still be cheaper for me to go there and fly there as a tourist than if I wanted to go to like Siargao. If I wanted to be in Cloud 9 in Siargao Island, it will cost me less to go to Thailand, to go to Vietnam. And that would be a new experience for me. So even for local Filipinos here in the Philippines, they are starting to look at that. They're starting to go to Cambodia, to Vietnam. Vietnam is very popular right now. It's, I think, the hottest out of all the countries in Southeast Asia. So they get 40 million. Over 40 million tourists per year. Whereas the Philippines gets like 5, compared to 40. So I'm not, but for me, it doesn't mean that Vietnam or Thailand is better than the Philippines. That narrative, you always see somebody pointing that out, and I'm like, that's not the narrative. For the Philippines, we have a higher rate here in the Philippines of foreigners coming here to the Philippines to retire. We have easy retirement, SRRV visa, the English, of course, English is spoken here. And the other thing is like, you can be a tourist here in the Philippines, really forever if you want. If you want to be a tourist here in the Philippines forever, you just gotta pay. And the average cost per year, if you're a tourist here in the Philippines, around $500 to $600 is how much you'll spend. You cannot do that. I can't think of a country. Most Thailand specifically, they're very strict on their visa, especially like a tourist visa. You can't stay very long. You have to exit. You have to do things to stay in Thailand. Vietnam, I'm not sure. Maybe somebody can tell me, but I'm pretty sure you can't stay in Vietnam forever on a tourist visa. Here in the Philippines, you can really stay here. I've known people here. The requirement here in the Philippines on the tourist visa is after 3 years consecutive, you have to leave the country. But leave the country one day, go to Thailand, go to Hong Kong, come back the next day, your 3 years begins again. There's people here. I know friends of mine that's here on a tourist visa, been here over 5 years, and they just plan on doing the same thing. To them, it's easier for them to just do the tourist visa than doing the retirement, the SRRB visa. And then a friend of mine actually told me this. We were discussing this, tourist versus retirement. And if you're getting 40 million tourists in your country, it's also not all good. Because a lot of times, those tour packages, like I know it specifically because of Boracay Island. We used to get over 1 million Chinese in Boracay every year. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people in a small island. 1 million Chinese, direct flight from China, used to fly into Calibo. I think they still have one flight, I think. So we don't get the 1 million Chinese anymore. Maybe not even a tenth of it, not even 100,000. But for me, I remember it I lived in Boracay during that time, all the Chinese people there in Boracay. It is not all good that you're getting that many tourists. For one, the Philippines, a lot of times, is not benefiting from all those tourists. And the reason I say not getting all the benefit, a lot of those Chinese that were coming here, they had Chinese tour operators charging them, they get to Boracay, they had the guy with the flag, they have their own tour guides. They already have something set up in Boracay. Chinese restaurants in Boracay that they would filter all those Chinese, the Chinese operators of scuba diving. All the Chinese would go to that, so not a lot of the locals here. They benefited some, but it's not as much. And then the environmental impact was, to me, not worth it. Because in Boracay, there was Crocodile Island is one right near Boracay. There's several islands right near Boracay Island where you can go snorkeling. I used to snorkel all the time, so I would snorkel them. Man, these tourists are horrible, man. Because I'll be snorkeling, I'm like snorkeling, watching it, right? And these people, there'll be like white coral underneath the water. You're not supposed to stand on them, let alone take pieces out of the coral. And you see them doing that, So, and then they're not, because they're not invested in the Philippines. When they come to Boracay, they created a lot of waste. You go on the beach, there's like cigarette butts on the beach. They don't allow that, no smoking on the beach now, but there's cigarette butts on the beach, and there's just more trash, So to me, it's not all good that you're getting all that tourists. That's all I'm saying. It's like, to me, I prefer that the Philippines is getting more retirees, because the tourists that come even to the Philippines, when they come here, they might stay here for 2 weeks. The amount of money they spend here in the Philippines is not that big, because the airlines, they use the cheap airlines from the US. When they come here, they might stay at a hotel, they might eat at a restaurant. But the ones that were really spending their money here in the Philippines are the foreigners that retire here, the foreigners that build homes here, the foreigners that buy vehicles here. Let me give you an example of a foreigner. And I got friends here. They're buying cars here. They're buying SUVs. Edgar just bought a Toyota Innova. These cars aren't cheap. if you buy a car here in the Philippines that is 1 million, let's say 1 million, that's a good car, right? 1 million pesos is about $18,000. That's about a decent car. Here in the Philippines, for 1 million, you might be able to get a Toyota Rush, a small SUV you can get. Maybe a little higher, 1.1 million, 1.2 million, right? But for the math, it just makes easier for me to do the math. 1 million. If you buy a car here that's 1 million pesos, you pay taxes here in the Philippines for that car. It don't matter if you're Filipino, American, Canadian, it don't matter. There's a VAT here for new car vehicles. So for that 1 million peso car, you pay 120,000 pesos VAT. That goes to the government here in the Philippines. One drop, one vehicle. And you know Americans, man, they don't buy like my Toyota Wigo, my 600,000 peso car. They like their Ford Ranger here. They like their Toyota Hilux in the 2 million, 2.5 million. So just do the math. They're paying 300,000 pesos in tax VAT that goes to on the new car. That's more money, is what I'm saying. A retiree here in the Philippines that buys a car, that buys furniture in the house, builds a house. If you build a house here in the Philippines, that's the one that are putting a lot of money here in the Philippines. Not the tourists, man. Not the tourists, man. Not the tourists that's here for like 2 weeks. The retirees is what you want to get, man, because the retirees are here forever. Once they build a house here, once they buy a car here, chances are they're not going to leave the Philippines. All right, let me read the comments here before it gets too many. Kevin Shores, bye everyone. Bye, Kevin Shores. Thank you. Take care, Kevin. Emilio, $6 per gallon here. Yeah, that's probably what we're paying now here, Emilio. I bet you we're paying, if I do the math, we're paying about $6 per gallon here in Aklan. Probably pay more next week because we're expecting another 10 peso increase next week. OB, all right, Vaughn. Howdy, OB. Hey, Vaughn. hey, Vaughn. Good to see you, brother. Pinay Heart, are you still here? Yes, sir, OB Adventures. How's the family? Brian McCaslin. Hey, buddy. Hope your weekend is starting off good. Yeah, we're having a good weekend. It's actually Sunday here now, so yesterday I took Mom, Dazzle, and Liana to Calibo. They went ukay shopping. They were at the Grand Gaisano. I came back after dropping them off. Yeah. Keep an eye on Kalel, our little puppy. Somebody's got to be always a Kalel because he gets sad. He gets sad when he's alone in the house. Michael Manalasa, hey, my good friend, my brother in Northern California. Obi, Vaughn, very well, sir. Thanks to Gino, gave us great info about banking earlier today. All right. Like I said, man, I'm always available for any question, video chat with me. I'm always available like 5 a.m. in the morning, Philippines time. 6 a.m. usually is my morning walk, and then 7:30 is when I do the live stream. So the time for me that I'm really available is like 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. Philippines time. I'm always on somebody's video call, somebody's audio call. If you don't want to do video call, I'm fine with the audio call also. It's very sad how people disrespect nature. It is, Brian. And I see it worse with tourists. Not that I'm bragging on the giving them a hard time, but the Chinese tourists in Boracay for many years out. I lived 18 months in Boracay. Every time I visited, I'm glad that they're not coming to Boracay. They're just not. They just abuse the Boracay. To them, it's kind of like they come there, they go to the beach, and they're just like, they don't, they, I guess because it's not theirs, so they don't have but still, like you said, they should respect Boracay, but unfortunately they don't. So I don't miss them. I don't miss them that we don't no longer get a lot of Chinese tourists. No way, OB, I missed it. Biswax, hey Biswax, my brother in Davao City. Good morning, and everyone. Happy Saturday, everyone from Brian. Happy Sunday if you are in the Philippines. I know, right? One, banking is weird in the Philippines. Wherever you deposit your money, you have to go there to get the money. Yeah, pretty much. Especially for me now, Vaughn, because I do have ATM, but a big portion of money that we have it on savings passbook, because I don't even trust the online banking here in the Philippines. So we went old school. We have Dazzle's got a passbook at Metro Bank. I have a passbook at PNB and BDO. We went back old school, brother. It's like we do have ATMs, and so far so good, but I don't even use, how our ATM also is a debit card. I don't even use the debit card. I don't trust the system. They call me paranoid, but I rather handle everything cash. Go to the bank, get my cash, passbook, hand me my cash, and I'll use my cash or Gcash. But I just don't trust the online banking system here. Team Melker, gas here in US is about, yeah, it's still cheaper, man. $3.50. I wish I could pay $3.50 here. Even before this crisis, I was paying more than $3.50 a gallon, man. Depending on your state. When I go back to Philippines in 6 weeks, I'm hoping the price are back down then. We have an and wow, all right, I know what that is. I just saw my neighbor bought a new one. It's kind of like a little golf cart that's electric. Very popular here in Aklan province. We be looking at a gas strike when I get there. Yeah, the gas strike, like our Bumblebee, our tricycle. I have a Yamaha 125 cc scooter on it, automatic. Doesn't even have the, I don't know how to operate a motorbike with a manual. So I can fill it up. I can fill up the tank for like $4, and it fills it up, and it lasts forever. Gas, a gallon, 2 here. Yeah, that's pretty good price, man. I wish I was paying $3.50, man. I'll pay that. My nephew is in Japan, Tokyo, for university right now, and he said Chinese tourists, they're horrible. I have to agree. The Chinese. I do not miss the Chinese tourists when they're used to. I used to see them in Boracay. They're horrible at the buffets. They're horrible. Even a simple McDonald's. You go to McDonald's, you order. They just make a mess of everything, man. I do not miss them. I do not miss them at all, man. Emilio, what's gonna happen to minimum wage worker if gas go up more next week? I don't expect the wages to go up just because most of your minimum wage workers here, a lot of them ride bicycles, man. A lot of them ride, or even the ones that ride motorbikes. You'll see 2-3 people on a motorbike here. Jeepney prices, I haven't seen them raise them as far as riding the jeepney. So I don't know. Because the government so far is subsidizing, giving the jeepney drivers money. So, but I don't know how that's gonna last. But minimum wage workers here in the Philippines, they just find a way here. It's like a lot of them work for cash anyway. A lot of them, it's not like in the US where you say minimum wage worker, they still report them. Here in the province, a lot of workers here, it's under the table. There's no government. There's no, you need a construction worker to work in your house. You need 4 or 5 workers. You just hire them off the street here. My deepest scuba dive was 218 feet. I still saw a soda can laying on the ocean floor. I know, man. And that used to frustrate me, man. I used to be heavy on snorkeling, and I love snorkeling. And I would see it, man. I've even seen people, you can see them like trying to remove the coral from the, I'm like, what the heck are you doing? It's like, but that's what happens when you get too many tourists, you get too many tourists. It's not all good. It's not all good that you have a lot of tourists. Hey, Alan, howdy, howdy. Watching live from Frisco, Texas. All right, everything here is expensive. LOL, yeah. See, that's the thing with me, man. Even with all this gas prices going up, they're saying everything should go up. It's not affecting me here in the province, man. I have my little community here. We got our public market. It's still the simple life, so it's not going to affect us too much here. Mr. Rizzo, the Philippines is an OSHA nightmare. I know about OSHA. OSHA, yeah, anything to do with safety, anything like that, man, forget it. Especially here in the province, forget that. It's like I see people here all the time, Mr. Rizzo. I take Leanna to school, Numancia Integrated School. I see it all the time. There's like a guy in a motorbike, right? Single motorbike, not a tricycle, single motorbike. He'll have a kid in front. There's usually like in front of him, and he'll have like 3 kids in the back. So 4 kids. He's like the transportation to haul these kids, like kind of like a school bus in the U.S. But here they don't have school bus here, so it's a motorbike here, right? So he's riding on a motorbike with 4 kids, young little kids, from ages 5 to 10. Imagine on a motorbike, you got like 4 kids riding on a motorbike. But here, it's normal here. It's like the wild west here. It's nothing. If you see it, okay, well, at least they didn't get in an accident. Southern Cal, Benny, Gino, how do you convert your dollars? Do you use the bank, or do you have a go-to person or place that gives you top rate? Oh, that easy. For me, I try to accumulate. I have a PNB. Dollar account. So I actually have 2. I have a dollar account with BDO. I have a dollar account with PNB. I just build money there. I have peso accounts too, but for most of the time, when the exchange rate is low, I keep saving my dollar, and I wait until it hits like 60. 60 is my magic number. If it hits 60, whatever dollar I'm holding, I'm selling, because I don't think it's gonna go beyond that. The 60 is that'll be like the all-time high already. And what I have 2 options with PNB. Usually PNB, if the rate is 60 and it's my account there, they can just transfer the money, dollar, to my peso account. But they don't give you the really, really high rate. It just depends. I will ask them. I usually ask them, I said, how much is your exchange rate? If they say 59.50, maybe I'll consider, maybe I don't want the hassle of getting the dollars. But if I don't like what the quote they give me, I'll compute it in my head. I'll do my calculator, see how much money I can get. If depending on how much dollars I have, I can withdraw in dollars. PNB allows me to do that. $100 crisp brand new bills. I mean, it's a hassle because it's funny here when you withdraw your money, man. They have to, each single $100 bill, they have to write the serial number on this piece of paper. I have to verify each $100 bill, and I have to sign it to accept it. I guess it prevents it from fake. I don't know. But I can take that. That crisp $100 bills are here in Calibo. There's one money exchange here that will give you 60. Not all of them, but I just know one that does. It's also like a pawn shop, jewelry shop, money exchange. And they, whatever rate is advertised, highest rate, they want your dollars. I can do it that way. But it just depends. If I'm too lazy, I don't want to go to hassle of writing down, check-in, taking it, transporting the, I don't want to be walking around with like a couple of $1,000s. And, it's like, and I exchange it. Then I'll have pesos, I'll have like stacks of pesos. Might not be a good idea. Little helmet use. Yeah, Rizzo. There is a helmet law, They're more stricter in Calibo. More people wear helmets in Calibo, but in our town, Numancia, and further out, it's like I would say maybe 25% of people wear helmets. Most people don't wear helmets here. But if they're going to Calibo, they will. Because they know they got to go through a checkpoint. They know they got to go through a checkpoint. And they can't, there's so many checkpoints where they stop motorbikes to check for helmets. So, good morning, everyone. Hey, Colonel, sports fans. Good to see you, Colonel. I saw that you were... at Denny's? You were eating at Denny's? I was like, oh, Colonel, eating at Denny's, man. Yeah, you're in BGC. That's awesome, man. Brian, I have actually seen 7 people on a motorcycle there before. Sometimes you got to do, you got to do what you got to do. Here in the province, it's not a big deal. I know that's a big deal more in the cities here in the Philippines. They don't allow that, but we live in the wild, wild west here in Aklan province. Anything goes here, man. Anything goes here. I see animals strapped to a motorbike here, single motorbike, and there's a goat or there's a hog-tied pig alive that's like strapped on the motorbike here. Like I said, propane tank. I've seen a single motorbike propane tank like wrapped around like, I don't know how they do it, but like you see anything, like you said, like OSHA would have a fit. OSHA would have a fit here, it's like don't forget to like and thank you, Brian. Thank you, Brian. One, Gino is into money market. Yeah, I don't do stocks. I gave up investing in stocks when I left in the United States because I didn't want to do that watching the ticker. I didn't want to go through that stress of like, Middle East, something happening. My stocks are dropping. I didn't want to go through all that. So I'm more like a CD, like a certificate of deposit at the banks. Sure money. That way you don't worry. You don't worry about, it's like, I know I don't get the best returns for my money, but, it's not an issue. Hey, Ron Navy. All right. Hey, Ron Navy. Good to see you, brother. A long time no see. You'll have to update me on your fiance, on your fiance visa thing, man. Good to see you, though. Good to see you, Ryan. Colonel, yeah. I like to go Olive Garden and Denny's in BGC once in a while. Man, I think I have eaten at Denny's here in the Philippines, I would say at least 10 years ago. And I ate at the Denny's by the airport, by Manila Airport. That's the last time I've eaten at Denny's. Olive Garden, I've never eaten at Olive Garden here in the Philippines. Hi, Vaughn. I love Olive Garden, man. I like their breadsticks. I remember they have really good breadsticks at the Olive Garden. Mr. Rizzo, it's like when I was a kid in the USA, they just pile on tops of trucks. Yeah, they still see, man, jeepneys, no seatbelts. I feel bad for the children. Here, man, you still see that. Yeah, if you see a truck, this is the thing that, like the garbage trucks. A lot of times you'll see like the big Duwali tires on the back, elevated big garbage trucks. That's how they move people here sometimes. You'll see like a construction worker standing in the back of that, just holding on. It's like, that's how, if there's a big project or something somewhere and they got to transport people, you'll see them like 20, 25 people standing in those big garbage haulers, just standing there to get to the job site. Good morning, Colonel Vaughn. The Colonel is killing, living large, living large in BGC. Enjoy the concrete jungle. I mean, how can the minimum wage survive now if everything goes up? Here in the province, I don't see a problem. It's a more of a problem, Emilio, in the cities. It's a more a struggle because here in the province, everybody, they have access to inexpensive rice. A lot of people here plant their own food. A lot of people get seafood from the ocean. So you just don't get affected here more in the province because a fisherman will still fish, right? A farmer will still farm. It's not a big issue. But I know the people in the city, they're the ones that really affected because prices of goods living in it. If you're living in Manila, if you're living in Cebu City, chances are prices of everything will go up, because transporting those goods to the city. Here in the province, even for me, I don't really buy a lot of stuff that comes from somewhere else. Everything, when we go to the public market, we can pretty much, our whole week menu of what we eat comes from the public market, sourced by local farmers here, sourced by local fishermen. So they're not going to raise prices on us heavily because we know these people. We're suki. We're like regular customer. They know. We've been shopping with them for many years. Unlike the big box, the Save More, the SM Cherry, if they start raising prices on canned goods, on milk, on whatever, there's not much you can do, if you're living in the city. I don't have to go grocery shopping in Calibo if I can avoid it. If it's starting to cost more, I can still live pretty frugal here in the province. Good morning, Brian. Ron Navy, she has CFO class tomorrow, then she fly here about time. About time, all right, good deal. Congratulations, Ron, congratulations. Yeah, it's been a long time, right? That's a long process for a fiancé visa, man, because it's been a while since I hanged out with you in Boracay. I can't even tell how, it's been so long, man. Bill Meyer, prayers. Hey, thank you so much, Brian. Coffee snack. Oh, appreciate it. Thank you, Brian. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you, my brother. I'm back in Iloilo. Oh, okay, you're back in Iloilo. But I'm glad you got to eat Denny's, man. I'm jealous, Colonel. You got to eat at Denny's, and I love Denny's, man. Morning, Colonel. OB, thank you for supporting Gino, Brian. All right, appreciate it. The Colonel, I hope to meet you when we get to Iloilo in June. Oh yeah, I'm sure. I mean, Colonel's a good man. Colonel's a good guy, man. It's like he's one of my brothers here in Panay Island, Hello, OB. All right. So that was my topic. I just wanted to point out people make such a big deal of that. Oh, Vietnam is so much better than the Philippines or Thailand because look at all the tourists that go there. To me, that, it is more expensive here in the Philippines. I will admit that. If you're a tourist, it's just hard to go island hopping here. Domestic travel, airline tickets, ferry tickets, it is. And then housing, the hotels. I've been to Thailand, I've been to Indonesia. Their hotels, for the price, you're getting more for the money. So that's why they're getting more tourists. And then a lot of it too, the Philippines, the culture here is similar to if you're coming from Canada or America, the Philippines really is similar to for me, I lived in the U.S. The Philippines, when you go to the Philippines, you got beaches, right? That's the main attraction. You've got beautiful resorts and beaches, but we had beaches in California too, So Florida's got some nice beaches. For the most part, when people come here, they end up going to the mall. The mall is the main attraction in the Philippines, unfortunately. Anywhere you go, even in Iloilo City, when Daz and I go there, we go to the mall. Rojas City, when we go there, we go to the mall. It's either the mall or the beach. Whereas in Thailand and Vietnam, you have a more you see more diverse, like involved with their culture. Like if I go to Vietnam now, I know I'm gonna see stuff that I'll only see in Vietnam. Or if I go to Thailand, you got temples, you got Buddha, the food is there, the food is more aligned to Americans. Americans, I know they're familiar more with Thai food and Vietnamese food than Filipino food, I know many Americans that's never eaten Filipino food before they get here to the Philippines, but many Americans tried Thai food in the US. You have Thai restaurants in the US. You have Vietnam more. There are Filipino restaurants in the US too, but a lot of times it doesn't get tried by maybe in California because there's so many Filipinos in California. But if you're living somewhere where there's not a big population of Filipinos, you're not going to see a lot of Filipino food. Okay, that was one of the topics there. I'm looking at my notes. Like I said, just the ones that you really want to attract, to me anyway, if I was like in charge of like here in the Philippines, you want to attract the long-term people, the retirees. And I think the Philippines is doing a good job of that. The SRRV visa, it's not just like Americans taking advantage of that. We are now the #1 destination for Japanese and Koreans, elderly people that want to retire, because they can come here on the SRV and they can hire personal nurses here. There is now like assisted living for that target, that target audience, Japanese and Koreans. There's actually like a assisted living, I know, in Luzon, like Manila area, that's Japanese. Like you go in there and it looks like you're in Japan. The whole building inside, everything set up is like Japanese, and a lot of like that, because it costs more for the elderly to be, for them to take care of them in Japan, in Korea. In Angeles City area, inside Clark City, lots of Korean retirees moving in that area. Those retirees, they're just spending more money here. They're day to day. If they're staying here for good, you're getting a lot of money from those people. That what you'll get from like a 1 week, 2 week vacation tourist. All right, let me see topic 3. And like a lot of things that happen here that I see too, even before some people marry their Filipina, they start building homes in their Filipinas property, especially once they get married. Foreigners can't own land here in the Philippines, so but they can build, and they build nice houses here for their Filipina. And I think that's good for the Philippines that they don't allow foreigners to own land. I know that's a big subject for a lot of groups that I belong to. They're but they don't let foreigners own land in the Philippines. And to me, I'm like, and what's your point? What's your point? To me, that makes sense. To me, it makes sense that the Philippines does not allow foreigners to own their land, because if they do, everything's gonna get bought here. The freaking Chinese will buy everything here in the Philippines if you allow them to. That's why foreigners can't are not allowed to own land here. It's happening in the U.S. I'm hearing it's like acres and acres of land in the Midwest are being bought by Chinese. Farms are being bought by Chinese. I mean, I don't think that's a good thing that China is your enemy. You're letting your enemy buy land in the United States. You don't know what they're doing in that land. If they're planning on something or they're the enemy. Why would you allow that to happen even? It's like whoever decided that is not thinking long term, not thinking long term. All right, let me go back to the comments here. There's a. All right, hello, BOB. Hello. The OB, it is my pleasure to help my Air Force brother. All right, all right. And OB is also Air Force, Brian. OB is also a retired Air Force. Hey, the Air Force brothers are taking care of each other. The Colonel, absolutely, Vaughn. As long as I'm here when you're here, yeah, same here. If I'm here in Calibo, anybody that comes here, of course I'm gonna hang out. I'm gonna pick you guys up wherever you are here, show you around Calibo. Vaughn, right on, Colonel. I'll reach out. Oh, next month I'm gonna schedule next month, Colonel. I'll send you the date. Probably like April 9, a weekday, April 9. I'm going to set up a get-together, expat get-together at Loola's Fish Farm because Daniel's going to be here. Daniel from Jacksonville, Florida. Well, he's not from Jacksonville now, right? He's going to be here in the Philippines. Today he's leaving Tokyo. He's going to Cebu. He's just going to do his SRRV in Cebu. And then he's going to be here in Panay Island. So I'm going to set up something at Loola's Fish Farm for us to welcome Daniel. Welcome him to the group. Right, Colonel, I'll reach out when I get there. Said hi. Jesus. Greetings, Peru. All right, Jesus, Peru. Wow. The Colonel, SRRV is a great visa. I think so, especially if you're like a veteran, if you're a military veteran, I think that's a good deal. A good SRRV is a good deal. Brian, hey, Brian, Pat, hello, good morning, brother, good morning. My brother in Galveston County, Texas. They keep raising the amount to retire that has to be kept in the bank. Yeah, I did see that. For unfortunately, and I do understand the reason for that, Mr. Rizzo, because they really have to tighten up here in the Philippines. I think even on the tourist visa, on who they're allowing to come in, because we're having issues with some of the people coming in here. They come here on the tourist visa and they don't have enough money. They go broke here pretty fast in the Philippines, and then they don't have a way to go home to where they came from. They become homeless here in the Philippines pretty fast. Worse if they get sick. Hospitals here in the Philippines, they function on cash. If you don't have cash, unfortunately, you can't expect the government here. That's why the whole amount, the whole thing regarding the SRRV. And what's even worse is like, I do think they need to tighten this up a little bit. They're finding more criminals. Unfortunately, they're finding more criminals from other countries coming to the Philippines on a tourist visa and hiding here. We don't want that, right? We don't want that, but I'm sure they're addressing the issue. But I know the Philippines is very welcoming and all, but we don't want to welcome criminals over here, man. If you're wanted in your country, man, we don't want those kind of people here. I should have said SRV, expanded courtesy is great for ex-military. Yes, correct, Colonel. Because the money for the ones that's a regular SRV, it's kind of high in my opinion too. It's high to leave that money in the bank. That's why a lot of people, instead of taking advantage of the SRV, they just do the tourist visa. It's like, because $500, $600, $100 a year, you break it out into months. That's not much, to stay in the country here. I think it averages like to $1.25 a day. It's like, to me, it's like, I think you can afford $1 a day to stay here, man. I'm currently working with JRC on my STRV courtesy visa. I think I've seen that company before. I think I looked at that JRC in Manila, right? There used to be, I think, is that the one where Steve, that the vlogger used to be Steve, that he used to promote that, but I don't think he does YouTube anymore. If you want to travel to the PH, I strongly suggest JRC. JRC. I think at one time I had their contact number too because somebody had asked me and I sent them that information. Now I just direct them to Michael C. Michael C on the channel here. He's here on the SRV. So a lot of times I'll ask Michael C, hey man, somebody's asking me about SRV. Do you mind helping him? And Michael C is always so helpful. It's better than it is in the US here too. Many Chinese are buying land near. I know, right? So to me, I don't know who allowed that to happen. It's like, that's not a good thing, where the Chinese are buying land near our military bases. You don't know what they're doing in their land that they're buying. What if they're building tunnels underneath, to attack the military base, people need, unfortunately, people that didn't serve in the military, they don't realize how much China is our enemy, how they've been trying to destroy America for years and years now. They're like cyber attacking us. They're doing all kinds of bad stuff to us, to Americans. And I just don't understand, I guess because, you never serve, there's people, a lot of people, only a small percentage of people serve in the military and doesn't understand that, China is our enemy. They're not our friend. There's, to me, it's like, it's almost like automatic to me to know my enemy. My enemies, Iran, North Korea, Russia, and China. It's like, if you don't understand that those four countries want to hurt Americans, want to hurt our economy, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Those are the enemies. It's like, the Colonel, I also recommend CNG Consulting out of Cebu. All right. Thank you, Colonel. I'm going to have to ask Daniel if that's the company that he's using for his SRRV. Expats in the Philippines naturally become economic drivers, job providers, and good. They do, Vaughn. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I'm not worried about the tourist numbers that come to the Philippines. If it remains 5-6 million, I prefer it to become that number because tourists is not all that good. It's like, they're not really good for the environment here. They might bring some money here, but the ones I would focus are the ones that people retiring here. That's why there's a Philippine Retirement Authority in charge of that SRRV program, because those people bring a lot. Those are the ones that bring money here. Those are the people that are like spending their whole pension here in the Philippines, buying vehicles, paying that VAT. 12% on brand new vehicles, VAT on appliances, furniture, all that is got a VAT here. They're paying 12% tax on all that. That brings money to the Philippines. OB, hello, brother. I will be in Iloilo before 15 May. All right, man. Man, it's amazing. So many people are right. Daniel's gonna be here, like in Cebu this week. I know April, there's people arriving in Panay, and then, Brian's gonna be in May, Vaughn, I think June. It's like amazing how many people are coming. And then, OB, 4 months, he'll be here in the Philippines. Awesome, Gino. Loolas is always. I know. That I wanted to give you a heads up, Colonel. I'll send you the information. That way, I'll send James also. I'll invite JP, Edgar, Ruben. Invite as many people so we can welcome Daniel here. How long will you be in Iloilo, Brian? OB, Brian. One, starting off in Iloilo, but the Philippines will be my forever home. All right, that's awesome. Awesome to hear that, Brian. It's gonna be a great forever home. I know. And if you do stay in Iloilo, you stay here in Panay Island, then I think you made a wise choice. You know, Panay Island to me is awesome, man. Brian, that's wonderful, bro. We will be in Bataan end of July. Time is flying. I know, man. It won't, man, July is going to be, I know it's going to be fast. It's going to get here before you know it, before you know it, OB. However, the money given to the PRA can be taken out and used for a condo purchase or other specific. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I've read something about that. I read some. So that's a good option, right? That way, the money's not just sitting there; it's invested somewhere here in the Philippines. Awesome decision, Brian. Do you have a particular area in mind? JR is awesome with visas, types, and anything for real estate. Oh, that's awesome, man. Hey, man, anything that you can, professional, anything that you can get help here. That's awesome to get here, man. All right, I hit my topic today already. Okay, so that's good. I can delete this. I tried to delete them because I always like accumulate all these articles that I find interesting here in the Philippines. There's one more thing here I guess I can talk about. This one, I saw this breaking news. Philippine Marine, the Marines here in the Philippines, BrahMos Force. BrahMos is the Philippines has been buying missiles from India. The BrahMos is kind of, it's the same thing that I keep seeing in the Middle East. It's like it's a missile launcher, a movable missile launcher, and we've been buying a lot of it for the past. 2004 was the first delivery. They delivered more last year, and more are coming from the Philippines. The Philippines is arming. The Philippines is like modernizing the military here. We're getting a lot of help, of course, from the Americans, Australian, Japanese, South Korea. They're upgrading our Navy, but now they're gonna stand a permanent Marine unit in northern Luzon. Basically, in northern Luzon, between Taiwan and the Philippines. There's that strait where China would probably want to like cross to go to the Pacific Ocean if something happens. So they're gonna put missile batteries there now. Philippine Marine unit in northern Luzon. So we have they're anti-ships. They can hit ships out in the ocean. We bought this BrahMos missile from India. So the Philippines is not only getting armed with all these BrahMos missiles from India, but we also have cruise missiles here from the United States, because every time the United States come here for Balikatan exercises, shoulder to shoulder, there's going to be a Balikatan exercise here coming up soon again. Every year they come here, they bring these cruise missiles here, and they always stay here. The Americans just leave them here somewhere in the Philippines. So there's more and more missiles here because from the cruise missiles that are here in the Philippines, they can hit mainland China. So the Chinese aren't happy about that, of course, that the Philippines has the capability to hit them from land here. 48 days until the big, wow, 48 days, man, that's nothing, man. 8 days in a wake up, man, that is nothing. Hey, Ruben, good morning. Good morning, Ruben. Hey, Ruben, we got, I'll text you after this live stream. We'll have to schedule, we'll do the live stream together that way. I'll invite GP too, so the three of us. I was thinking cafe latte in Calibo. I'll just bring my phone, we can, I think they have good Wi-Fi there. I'll double check on the Wi-Fi. Sometime this week, I'll go, maybe tomorrow or Tuesday, I'll go to Latte and test their Wi-Fi, whether we can do a live stream there together. I think that would be, somebody even mentioned that would be a cool live stream because JP is like pretty new, pretty newbie. JP's going on 3 months. Ruben's been here 15 months. And I guess a newbie, mid, for Ruben, mid retiree here, and me, like I guess I'm the old retiree here, been here 15 years. So the three of us do a live stream together at the Cafe Latte. I think that would be fun. Maybe I'll shoot for Thursday or Friday this week. Have a wonderful. Thank you, Ruben. Thank you. Have a wonderful day, Ruben. Nice morning, Ruben. I was like, nice and cool. It's like, I don't even have the fan on. It's so cool out here, man. I don't even have the fan on. All right. Okay, I'm at the bottom of the comments. I'm out of topics here. So I'm going to end the live stream right here. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining the live stream. Brian, I appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Everyone, have a good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Please take care. Live stream later this week will be good. All right, Ruben. All right. And I'll let JP know too. Just in case he's in Calibo, he might stay in Capiz. I don't know. So I can get a heads up for him what will work for JP. If not, we'll just do it together for now. Me and you, Ruben, we can do the live stream together. All right. Take care, everyone. Everyone stay blessed. Stay blessed.